Paul Harrell, weekdays from 4 to 6. Learn more at paulharrell.com.
Let's get to the consistency of things. Joe, will you forward to Jana Della Rosa's comments? I know that's not queued up right now at this moment as we see, but State Representative Jana Della Rosa, she took to the floor shortly after Bart Hester was there to express her dismay at the entire Conduit for Action presentation and why she doesn't come to her own committee meetings. Take a listen to this.
I don't have a question for them. I got a question for everybody in this room. And I'm going to be ugly for just a second.
Uh-oh, don't be ugly. Jana Della Rosa, no.
I'm tired of it. I hear this all the time, and I'm tired of hearing it. This is the Republican committee. Mm-hmm. And you guys are after your own elected officials.
Yep.
We're in this room, and we're being put down. We're being told we're not being accountable. We're being told that we're not conservative enough. We're not Republican enough. We're in this room with you.
You're growing
If you want to know what my voting record is, I'm right here. You don't have to go look at their scorecard for their interpretation of it. I'm right here.
So this confirms that Bart Hester took the Proverbs verse out of context, because she is essentially saying, Jana Della Rosa is saying, don't look at their scorecard. I'm right here. She wants to be the one to explain her voting record. It is actually the outside groups, okay, that are the cross-examiners. Senator Hester, if you would have you believe that verse, you remember the verse it was, Joe? Proverbs 18:16 or 18:17 something. Anyway, he would have you believe that he is a cross-examiner. That you're cross-examining yourself. Tell me, how can you cross-examine yourself unless you're like Jim Carrey in that movie Liar Liar? Like how is that? How are you able to do that? Okay, this is Jana Della Rosa. She's upset. I can't believe it. Back it up just a little bit, just a hair. She's upset. She's telling everybody, you don't have to look at Conduit for Commerce's scorecard. You can just take my word for it, is what she's saying.
479-236-3060. It's all over the place. It's my phone number. Same for everybody else. You want to know why we don't show up here very often, as Representative Hinman pointed out?
Tell us.
Because of this. Because when we walk in this room, half of you are nodding your heads going, yeah, those elected officials, they're not acting right. They're not acting right. Well, you're talking about us. Would you show up to a meeting where half the people in the room were against you? Not all of you.
I can't believe that that's the attitude. Can you believe that's the attitude of an elected official? Well, would you show up and do your job and get the input of your own citizens? I mean, essentially what she's saying is, she says half the people in the room. I think there's more people in the good party of Benton County that are fed up with ACE's progressive liberal agenda. She doesn't want to hear from you. I mean, she's essentially like, well, I've made up my mind. I'm a middle of the road Republican at best. I don't care if you guys want me to go against liberalism, progressivism, growing government. I'm going to continue. That's essentially what they're saying is, I don't want to hear. I mean, why, as an elected official, I mean, why not engage? Why be afraid of the conflict? Why be afraid of the debate? If you're right on your points, stand up and make your points. If you're right, that's what conservatism used to be about. It used to be about honest debate, not avoiding controversy, and conservatives shouldn't avoid controversy because it's easy. It's easy because limited government works. And we're right on substance. It's the left that, oh, I'm scared. It's the left that operates based on emotion, trying to get what they want based on emotion. That's what the left does. But that's as evidence. I mean, look how they don't want to debate. That's just evidence that they are veering off to the left at the very least. It's much worse than that, in my opinion. Much worse than that. Continue. State Representative Jana Della Rosa goes on.
A lot of you are very supportive of the Republican Party, and you follow the goals of getting Republicans in power, and you don't expect 100% agreement with absolutely every single thing. You can't get 100% agreement with everybody.
Stop. A lot of you are supportive of the goals of the Republican Party, which is to get Republicans. Notice, she doesn't say get Republicans elected. She says get Republicans in power. get Republicans in power. Those are the goals. That's all that you need to know. Just let Republicans have control.
Last time I checked, the prerogative and the goals of the Republican Party was to shrink government, not to put Republicans in power.
You're exactly right. But they are abandoning that. Can you hold our place there, Joe? Okay, hold the place there. And I want you to go all the way back at the beginning of that particular clip that we have there. And I want you to listen to this confrontational presentation that elicited these responses from Senator Hester and Jana Della Rosa. Start at the very beginning. This, again, Conduit founder Joe Maynard.
I wanted to talk about three things tonight, and some of them are repetitive, but one of the three things is, how do we discuss and disagree now that we're in the majority in the state? It was easy to say, those Democrats doing this, we believe in this, we believe in that, and we believe in that. And when we get control, we're going to repeal Obamacare. Well, how do we have that conversation now with the people that we have placed our trust in? And then how do we gain the majority to start with? And then what is our agenda at Conduit? Because there's been a lot of speculation about it, but I don't think anybody's told us yet what our agenda is. But they always talk about it. Relative to item 1, the Republican platform is fairly clear. The low-hanging fruit, as we call it, that virtually no one disagrees on is, gods, guns, and abortion. If you're right on those three things, nobody really cares or knows or looks into what you do with the money. Well, that's where we come in. It's time for the Republican Party to mature, in our view, as a majority party and live up to the promises that it makes to the voters.
Yep.
If you see something, say something. Everybody heard that statement? Mm-hmm. All right, does that apply to when you see something that goes on in Little Rock that seems contrary to what has been told to the voters? Do you say something, or do you just shut up, be quiet? Or do you go settle your differences behind closed doors as Republicans and then come out unified? Well, we've tried that, and they ain't biting. I have a hard time sometimes talking to my friends and people that aren't affiliated to convince them, if they know anything about what's going on, why to be a Republican. I can talk about the principles, but they see what's happening. We've got to address that as a party now that we're in the majority. Yes. Second point, how did we get here? I don't know. I haven't been involved that long. But what I have seen and
just stop right there. So isn't that just so inflammatory? How do we have these conversations? And this is kind of where we're headed. It's fascinating, right? Joe, go back to what Jana Della Rosa said. Fast forwarding, and let's see what happens. If you can find it, I'm sorry. I know I'm making this difficult.
Every single thing. You can't get 100% agreement with everybody in this room. Won't happen. Every one of you thinks you're the perfect conservative, and you're going to disagree on stuff. That's the way it happens. My point is, you can feel the tension in this room, can you not? I can.
No.
Well, I can. And I know that some of the other legislators can too.
Stop.
It's very uncomfortable.
You can feel the tension in this room. From what? Okay, from what? Okay, go back. Go to that 448 mark. Okay.
That's my closing.
This is Joe.
Something the last 6 years have taught us. We've been in 3 sessions, legislative sessions, every 2 years, and we've talked to a lot of people, and we know a lot more about what goes on than most people that are involved. If you think we can elect Republicans and count on them to fulfill your wishes now that we're in the majority, we're all going to fail. We must have painful, uncomfortable, and personal debate and discussions. Not doing so will end in tyranny. And whose fault will that be? All right.
Stop.
Okay, so like
So the whole crux of this was, how do we have these difficult conversations? And Jana Della Rosa doesn't want to have them. And doesn't even want to have them. You guys are mean. And when you show up here, it makes us uncomfortable. Can you feel the tension in the room, she says.
Every single thing. You can't get 100% agreement with everybody in this room. Won't happen. Every one of you thinks you're the perfect conservative, and you're going to disagree on stuff. That's the way it happens. My point is, you can feel the tension in this room, can you not? I can. No.
How do we have the conversation?
And I know that some of the other legislators can too. It's very uncomfortable. It's very divisive. And it starts when that group comes in. If you want to know what will happen in Benton County, you start listening to this kind of thing, go look at Washington County. Go look at what happened in Washington County. That's enough evidence right there.
Washington County is great.
We read it. For members.
We are wonderful.
I know people that have come in and said, this place is nuts, and walk right back out. Benton County has gotten along very well. You know, it's been very open, and when John Carl was chairman, I think it was the last time that I was here, very welcoming, very nice. And I'm just saying, it's not feeling like that anymore. And I'm most disturbed because I saw so many heads nodding when they were saying, you know, we need to get our elected officials back. We need to primary them. We need to, you know, all this kind of stuff. Nobody said that. How many
The presentation had nothing to do with that. Again, it was just about, had the scorecard, bad bills, good bills, and they mentioned no names because they were requested to not mention any specifics of names. They just gave the presentation, and then she starts talking. Listen to how disturbed Jana Della Rosa is. She's disturbed. She saw so many people nodding their heads during the presentation. Maybe people can recognize truth when they see it, huh, State Representative Della Rosa? What do you say to that, Senator Bart Hester? You think they can recognize truth when they hear it, when they see it, when somebody takes the time to point out the minutia that when you're down at the Capitol, is absent from us unless somebody explains it? I don't know. But here we have the unity between Craighead County and Benton County that I was telling you at the top of the program. Craighead County and Benton County. You have the Benedict Arnold of the General Assembly, Senator John Cooper, and his email. Tea Party extremists have too much power here. We're going to quit catering to this divided committee. We're going to start doing things the right way. What does Jana Della Rosa say? Don't let Benton County become like Washington County. Look what happened to them. It's because Washington County's full of actual conservatives. If Jana Della Rosa had her way, John Woods would have been the county judge candidate. Indicted John Woods would have been the county judge candidate for Washington County if Jana Della Rosa had had her little Arkansas Political Action Committee click way. And that's just the truth of the matter. If you want to come on back, come on back. Come on back to true limited government, but it's going to require you standing up to Uncle Asa and Nephew Jim. That's the cost at this point. These two guys have put you in terrible situations where you've had to vote against the majority of the people in that room's wishes that you shrink government. The majority of people in a Craighead County committee room, the majority of people in a Benton County committee room, and you have no one to blame but Asa and Jim, honestly, because you guys have been put in these situations. You vote for tax increases or you're against the troops, right? You vote for Obamacare or you're going to, throw people out on the street and we're going to defund DHS. Republicans should be putting other Republicans in that position. Now, know the platform. That's also, I got somebody on Facebook. That's because she doesn't know the platform. Patrick on Facebook says that. They may not know the platform that they actually run on. They may disagree with most of it. And that's when I'm beginning. The honest ones, I wonder, do you disagree with most of that platform? Or do you only agree with the platform when Asa gives you permission to support it? Do you only agree with the platform when Nephew Jim gives you permission to support the platform? Real quick, go back. Here is, you know what it really is? You know what the politicians are really doing? And this is a popular phrase right now because of all of the sexual misconduct that is occurring out of Hollywood and people figuring things out. The term blame the victim. Have you heard that? Sometimes they want to protect the economic status of somebody, the amount, so they blame the victim. It's what Hillary Clinton did with all the Bill Clinton stuff. She was blaming the victims. Blaming the victims when it comes to Republican Arkansas establishment politicians is essentially they want to blame the taxpayers for not paying enough money. Or they want to blame the victims, who are the very people that have to live under their tyrannical votes. So if you point out, hey, you voted this way. See, this is why I don't come to your committee meetings. You're blaming the victims of your big government votes. That's what State Representative Jana Della Rosa was doing. That's what Bart Hester was doing, blaming the victims of their own big government progressive voting records.
Rush.